All right, let's break down the latest Night Owl Intel briefing from KeysGuard for September 17th. What's really fascinating here is the main theme. Attackers aren't using some futuristic, magical exploits to get in, they're using old, dusty flaws to create some very, very new pain. So let's just dive right in. And right off the bat, this isn't just theory. This is the reality on the ground. The briefing points to this attack that shut down an entire school district. We're talking phones, security cameras, even payroll systems, all knocked offline. So yeah, the stakes are incredibly high. Okay, first up, let's get a really clear lay of the land. What does the current battlefield actually look like? What are the active, urgent threats that security teams should be worried about? Like, right now? Well, the intelligence really zeroes in on 5 critical areas. You've got the Akira ransomware crew just hammering SonicWall devices. There's a nasty WinRAR bug being used in phishing attacks. We've got brand new 0 days popping up for mobile phones. And on top of all that, we're seeing massive denial of service attacks and, of course, the latest round of critical flaws from Microsoft. It's a busy week. And when I say massive, I really mean it. Recent distributed denial of service, or DDoS attacks, have hit a staggering 11.5 terabits per second. That is just a mind-boggling amount of junk traffic, all designed to take essential services offline. It's a huge reminder that our basic infrastructure is constantly under fire. So, that's the what. Now for the how. How are these attackers actually pulling this off? Well, the answer is kind of the whole point of this entire briefing, and you know what? It's surprisingly simple. We're talking about basic misconfigurations, not some kind of hacking magic. And this right here is the absolute crucial point. We all tend to imagine hackers using some super complex, never-before-seen 0-day exploit. But what this intel makes crystal clear is that the threat that's actually hitting companies is way more boring. It's old, unpatched vulnerabilities and just simple, basic security mistakes. I mean, just look at the biggest threat, this Akira ransomware campaign. They're not using some brand new, unstoppable weapon. Nope. They're just chaining together an old, known vulnerability, that's what the CVE number is, with some poorly configured settings on SonicWall VPN devices. These are problems that honestly should have been fixed ages ago. So here's how they do it step by step. First, they use that old flaw to get a little foothold. Second, they go looking for a super common mistake, a default users group that has way more permissions than it should. And from there, it's game over. They can reset the multi-factor authentication for an account and just walk right in the front door. A simple, preventable mistake leads to a total compromise. And you know, it's a pretty similar story with that WinRAR vulnerability. This isn't some super complex bug. It's just a simple flaw that lets an attacker trick the program into dropping a malicious file somewhere sensitive, like your startup folder. It's a straightforward, almost old-school trick to make sure their malware survives a reboot. Okay, so that's the bad news. But the great thing about intelligence like this is that it doesn't just tell you there's a problem. It gives you the tools to actually fight back. This is all about turning information into an active, aggressive defense. And this is exactly how we do it. The report breaks down the exact tactics, techniques, and procedures, the TTPs, that the Akira group is using. It tells us precisely what to look for. Are they trying to purge event logs to cover their tracks? Yup. Are they trying to disable your security software? For sure. Are they creating new admin accounts? These are the breadcrumbs they leave behind for us to find. And it gets even more practical. The briefing provides actual hunting queries you can run. This little snippet of code, for example, is designed to search through all your system logs to find that exact command Akira uses to wipe the evidence. This makes threat hunting real. It's not some abstract concept, it's something you can do right now. So, if we boil it all down, here's our high-level hunting checklist. We need to be watching for weird VPN logins. We need to be looking for WinRAR dropping files into startup folders. We should be suspicious of scripts running from weird places like your downloads folder. And we absolutely need to watch for any signs that an attacker is messing with our security tools or hitting our mobile devices. All right, so all this intelligence, all this hunting, it all leads to one place, our immediate action plan. This is what security teams need to be doing like in the next 72 hours to defend against these exact threats. Priority 1, no question, is patching and hardening your perimeter. The guidance is super specific. Get your SonicWell devices to version 7.3.0 or higher, update WinRAR to at least 7.13, get those Microsoft patches deployed, especially the critical ones. And please, don't forget mobile devices or the other things on CISA's Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog. That's the KEV list. But, and this is so important, remember that patching is not enough. That is the big lesson from the Secura campaign. So priority 2 is fixing those configuration and credential messes. Lock down access to management portals. Go find and fix that default users group problem. And maybe most importantly, force password resets across the board and make everyone re-enroll their MFA. You just have to assume the old credentials might be out there. And finally, priority 3 is about building long-term resilience. Are your DDoS protections actually ready for an 11 terabit attack? Are your backups secure and locked down? And maybe more importantly, have you actually tried to restore from them recently? This is about getting smarter, blocking risky things in your security tools, and building a defense that's ready for whatever comes next. So, look, if there is one single thing to take away from this entire intelligence brief, let it be this. The biggest, most damaging cyber attacks happening right now aren't winning because of some brilliant new exploit. They're winning because we're forgetting the basics. Patching, configuration, and good password hygiene, they're not just items on a checklist. They are the absolute bedrock of your defense. And that really leaves us with one final, critical question you have to ask yourself. You might have deployed all the latest patches, but did you go back and check the configurations? Are there old, default settings and forgotten user groups just leaving a door wide open? Because as we're seeing today, a patched system can be just as vulnerable as an unpatched one if it isn't configured correctly.